What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B, and welcome to Steelers Almighty, man. Steelers Almighty again, the fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube. We appreciate everybody being in here. Thank you guys for checking us out and tuning in, man. It's all because of you guys, the way we've been growing so fast. So I want to thank everybody for that. We got some stuff going on today, man. We got some stuff going on today.
Beginning to piss me off. Before we even get into
Let's get out of that. Let's get some stuff going, people. So first off, let's talk about Russell Wilson. Stephen A. Smith went off on Russell Wilson today, and it was insane. He absolutely just went off on him. And you know what? Regardless of what you think about Stephen A., I think he was right. We're going to talk about that a little bit. And then, are we putting too much into preseason? Are we really just putting way too much emphasis on the preseason and what the Steelers look like? We'll get into that a little bit more, man. So, again, as always, I want to thank everybody for being in here. Thank everybody for showing up and showing out. Appreciate that. As always, good old the supers are wide open. So if you want your comment or your question put up on the screen, and move to the front of the line while we're in the chat, we appreciate that. That's only one way that you can help support us. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and comment, all those good things. So no further ado, let's get into this. So today on First Take, Stephen A. Smith literally goes off on Russell Wilson. Now, I know the first thing you're going to say, Stephen A., he yells, he's a blowhard, he can't be taken seriously. Well, first of all, he can be taken seriously because he's on ESPN. Whether you like ESPN or not, whatever, he's there and he talks football. Whether you think he knows it or not, whatever. But today, he made sense. Today, I like what he said. It makes some sense. Now, you can say the mainstream's overblown, the mainstream media, whatever, man. Sometimes they get it right. And today, I think he got it right. I'm going to play a little bit of what he said here, and I'll let you guys decide for yourself. Just take a listen to this.
Russell Wilson, you're beginning to piss me off. Before we even get into the question, Molly, you stunk last year. You were paid $37.8 million to go away. The Denver Broncos is willing to eat nearly $38 million to get rid of you.
Now let's stop it right there. First of all, the one part I don't agree with is him saying that Russell Wilson stunk last year. No, he didn't stink last year. He didn't. You look at the numbers, he didn't stink. I'm not saying he played great, but to say that he stunk, or you know how people, Russell's washed, and I'm like, come on, man. If Russell Wilson did the exact same thing with Pittsburgh, and we've been over this, if he was on the Steelers last year and played the way that he played last year, the Steelers win at least 2 more football games. And that's just a fact. It just is. With all the injury problems that the Steelers had on defense, and as putrid as that offense was, if Russell Wilson could have somehow put together those numbers in Pittsburgh last year, we win 2 more football games. At least 2 more. So no, he didn't stink. That part, come on. But I mean, he's right as far as having to I don't know. He's right in a sense of Russell Wilson's got to stop being so lackadaisical. Let me play a little bit more of this for you.
And you sitting there fighting for a starting job with Justin Fields. You ain't fighting for no starting job with Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or somebody. It's Justin Fields you're starting for a job with. And he's sitting there with some smile on his face talking about, everybody just needs to relax. You ain't Aaron Rodgers. You don't get to say that. You better show up. You wearing the black and gold now. You a Steeler.
I think he's right. In all of that, I think he's right. You're fighting for your career. You are fighting for your damn career. and it's lackadaisical. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still the preseason, and we're going to talk about the preseason here in a little bit, and are we putting too much emphasis on it? But yeah, what we've seen from you in the preseason doesn't scream confidence to anybody, does it? I mean, first of all, you were hurt. That's number one. And then when you came back, you didn't look all that great. Now, a lot of that wasn't your fault, but we've seen the people that have seen the all 22 of Russell Wilson. There were 2 or 3 throws in there that he could have made that he didn't. He got the ball out of his hands so quick, checking down. Stop it, man. You play quarterback. You're gonna get hit. You got to stand in there and take a hit from time to time. If you don't want to do that, I totally understand. But you just can't be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's just the facts of the matter. So yeah, that's just how I know. You can't be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers if you aren't willing to stand in there and throw a football knowing you're going to get hit. That's what's required. So, and it didn't look like in that preseason game that he wanted to do that. And I know what you'll say. Well, he took 3 sacks. Yeah, those sacks, he didn't have a time to throw the football. He didn't have time to get it out of his hands. Roger Jones was getting his head beat in. But that's a different conversation for a different day. But Stephen A's right. Fighting for his career. Literally for his career. Because if it doesn't work out here, that's it for Russell Wilson. Like, he's not going to go and be a backup anywhere. I mean, he's not going to do that. You know Russ is not going to go and do that. So, and he shouldn't. But this is it. Either you make it work in Pittsburgh or your career is over. It's just that simple. And I don't know about you guys. I didn't see enough I don't know what you want to call it. I just didn't see enough urgency, I guess. Hey, we don't need to panic, but there's 2 things can be true. You don't have to panic and still show some urgency. And I don't think we see the urgency. And we better see it on Saturday. We better see something. Otherwise, I don't think this job is his. I really don't. And that's after me screaming from the top of my lungs that Justin Fields ain't going to win the job because he was out there running with the 4s last week. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying. To me, it looks like Russ thinks he's got the job locked up, and I don't know that that's necessarily the case unless he's been told that already. And if Mike Tomlin has already told Russell Wilson that he's the starter at this point, that would be that would be a fireable offense. And I know there's a lot of Mike Tomlin lovers out there. I mean, I don't want Mike Tomlin to be fired, but if he can't get the job done, I'm not going to cry if he has to go. But I know there's a lot of Mike Tomlin apologists out there. But if Mike Tomlin has already told Russell Wilson that he's the starter, no matter what, that would be a fireable offense. Period. End of story. And that's just a fact. So hopefully that has not happened because, man, that would be terrible if it has. You're hearing reports that Justin Fields is wanting, hey, I want some work with the ones. I think I've earned some work with the ones. And I think he has. I think he has earned some work with the ones. Why not? Put him out, put Russell Wilson out there for 2 or 3 series on Saturday. Let Justin Fields get 2 or 3 series. Let the best man win. Let the damn best man win. Now, the one thing that I will say, if you guys haven't seen the all 22 from Justin Fields on that preseason game against Buffalo, it ain't pretty. It ain't pretty. Y'all got mad at me because I bashed him on that 1 touchdown throw, which, again, it was a bad throw. There were about 6 other plays that Justin Fields just didn't see wide open guys that he should have seen. Just wide open. On throws that high school kids can see and throw. He didn't get through progressions. It did not look good. So if Justin Fields is going to say, oh, based on last preseason game, I need runs with the one, nah, buddy, And if I can see it or you can see it on the all 22, what are the chances that the Pittsburgh Steelers coaching staff isn't seeing it? Of course they are. Of course they are. But yeah, I got to see more from Russ. Let me play the rest of what Stephen A. said, man.
Only damn thing good that you brought to Denver was Sierra. That was it. Too cool for school. You fight for your career. Act like it, Russell Wilson. Act like it. Ain't he smiling like he got his beautiful wife next to him and you about to go to a Taylor Swift concert or something. No! You compete for the damn job.
I mean, again, I know there's a lot of you out there that don't like Stephen A. Smith. I know there's a lot of you out there that think he's a blowhard. But if you're being honest with yourself, he's not wrong. He's not. The only thing in that entire rant that I disagree with is the part about how he said that he sucked last year. I don't believe that he sucked last year. I don't. I'm not saying he played great, but he didn't suck. He just didn't. But he's right. Denver is paying him, $37.8 million not to be there. So, I mean, just think about that for a second. $37.8 million they are willing to give you not to play for their football team. That has to humble you a little bit, doesn't it? And should make you have a sense of urgency based on your age and where you're at. This is your third team in 3 years. Okay, how many times do those guys get chances? How many times do those guys get a fourth chance? A lot of times people don't get a second. You got a third. You think you're going to get a fourth? I don't think so. I don't think so. So I just I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, and you're right, Mike. Justin Fields, his interview, it was totally different. He was all business. I think Justin Fields feels a little slighted. I think he feels a little bit slighted in all this because I think he believes, hey, Russell Wilson was hurt. He didn't even play in the first preseason game. I put pads on. I looked good, for the better part of training camp. Once we put pads on, I looked good. The first preseason game, I missed some snaps. And 50% of that is on me. It is. But other than that, I look pretty daggone good. The second game, I didn't get an opportunity to play with guys. So how good could I be? I didn't get an opportunity to play with guys that are going to be on the football team. I didn't get that chance. So I think Justin Fields, I think he feels a little bit slighted. And I deserve an opportunity with the ones to see what I can do. I think he's right. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think he's right. And we talked about this on the podcast yesterday. Who do you want to be the starter? Do you want it to be Russ or do you want it to be Fields? Like, who are you asking for? Put it in the comments. Who do you want to start? I want the best guy. That's all I want. So, but yeah, Stephen A's right, man. I think he's right. Russell Wilson, we need to see some more urgency out of you. Doesn't mean you have to panic. We just need to see more urgency out of you. We need to see better play out of you. Okay? Somebody put in the chat, you play like you practice. I don't disagree. You can't practice shitty and then go out there and play the best game of your life. That's not how that works. That might happen on one occasion, but that's not how it works. You can't just be a bad practice guy and just practice terrible and then all of a sudden just go out and play well. And I don't mean practice terrible as in you have a lazy practice where you're just going through the motions to get through practice. I'm talking about you go through practice and you play bad in practice. And then all of a sudden, okay, game time, boom, 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 here it is. Doesn't work. Not at that level. Hell, the level that I was at Kansas State, it didn't work at that level. You had to practice well. I think any level, you got to have some good practices, man. So I'll be interested to see. Having said all of that stuff, next thing I want to talk about, are we putting too much emphasis on the preseason? Like, look, Steeler fans they're in two boats right now. Either we're in the barn is burning down. The house is literally on fire. and we got to get the hell out. We got to throw water. We got to fix this thing. The ship is sinking. Or we're in the camp of, hey, it's not that big a deal. It's preseason. We shouldn't even care about preseason. I think I'm a little bit of both. I think I'm not going to be fooled again in the preseason like I was last year. I'll admit, I was one of those people that thought, shoot, we got a top 10 offense. What are you guys talking about? Baby Hands looked like he's Joe Montana. And then the first snap of the first game happened, and then, yeah, that was me. That was me. And I thought that was a lot of people last year. And I'm also in the camp of, hey, man, we got to play, but we got to at least have some sort of showing. I'm not even saying we got to score a bunch of touchdowns and all this, but we got to move the football. Go on a drive. Get some points. Do something. Can't just be up 3 and out. Up, we're terrible. Up 3 and out. No, man. Go make something happen. Go do something. Yeah, and that's my philosophy. Let's see something. Something that we can hang our hat on as fans and be like, all right, man, this is okay. This is okay. So this is gonna be fine. This is gonna be fine. So that's let me go here and go to some of these comments real quick. My man Cam, TJ, and Minka recruited Russ this offseason. Russ will start week 1, whether we like it or not. I mean, you're probably right. You're probably right. But we say that, they recruited him, and that's true. Did Russell Wilson have like a whole bunch of other options? Like, where else was he going to go that needed a quarterback? Other than possibly Minnesota. But I think Minnesota was like, hey, man, I think we're okay. We're going to draft a guy, and we got Sam Darnold. We're fine. We don't need Russell Wilson. I think there's a lot of places that were just like, we'll pass on Russ. We'll pass. So the Steelers need him. They needed him, and we took him. We didn't have an opportunity to get in the draft. And here's another question for you. Let me just throw this out there. And I thought about bringing this up as a topic. As Steeler fans, the season's right around the corner. We're excited. And I want y'all to be honest with me. Not that you're never not, but be honest. Would you guys be upset? Other than we can't stand that our team's not being very good, but would you guys be upset if the Steelers just went into rebuild mode and we went 6-10, guaranteed ourselves a top 10 draft pick next year? Would you guys be upset? And again, other than we know that, we're just not very good. There's a lot of fans out there, a lot of Steeler fans that want no part of a rebuild. No part of a rebuild. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to even say it. And the thing about the Steelers is that technically we're in a rebuild. We've been able to do it without having losing records and not having higher draft picks. We've been able to do that, which is not often. That's not often that you can pull stuff like that off. But would you guys be upset if that were the case? So my man Mike says, hell yeah, I'll be upset. So I do want everybody's answer. I want everybody's answer. Let me know. Because is it the worst? For instance, let's just say the Steelers, again, sneak into the playoffs. Like the last 2 times that we've been in, we do the exact same thing. We sneak in, and then we get our head beaten in the first game. So we're out, and then we're picking at 21. I mean, or we could go 6-10, get the 9th pick in the draft, and go from there. Because remember what the Steelers do not have. Keep all of this in mind. We don't have a franchise quarterback. We don't have a running back that is currently, a bell cow running back that's currently under contract for next year. We don't have a number 2 wide receiver. All these things the Steelers don't have, and we're not spending a whole lot of money on the offensive side, and we have a ton of cap space. Like, we've seen teams turn it around in a year. They were bad one year, and then they turned it around the very next season. They spent money, they had high draft picks, and they were good again. We've seen that happen. Would you guys be upset? So, my man Christian said, no losing ever, ever. Always a winner's mindset. And nobody said that to go tank. Nobody said that we are trying to lose or anything like that. What I said was, would you be upset if that were to happen? Or do we want, and let's just be honest with where Steelers are, we're middle of the road. Are we okay with being middle of the road for the next 4 or 5 years? Or would you rather, you know what, if we're not going to win this year, okay, fine. But you know what? We can build, and then for the following year after that, we can be a Super Bowl contender. I don't know. It's a good question. I think it's a great question. So I think it's a great question. And I know TJ, Minka, Cam, they deserve one. But what do they deserve? For instance, they deserve a Super Bowl? You're right. But the way that we're going right now, I'm not sure that's going to happen. I mean, again, we don't have a franchise quarterback that's on our roster. Not to this point, not from what we see, you know. So we don't have that. Now, those guys absolutely deserve it. But for instance, let's just talk about Cam Hayward, for instance. Is Cam Hayward going to be on the roster next year? Are we going to pay a 36-year-old defensive tackle $16 million next year? Come on, man. Nobody's doing that. I mean, even if Cam comes out and has 10 sacks this year, we're not doing that. And we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't. So, no, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. It's those kind of decisions that are going to have to get made. You know, I think it's a good question because my man Christian is just blowing up the chat talking about I'd rather be mediocre for the next 4 or 5 years. Why? What's more deflating? Let me ask you what would be more deflating. Being 6-10 and having the number 9th pick and having all this money to spend and then being good the next year, really good, or sneak into the playoffs like we have the last 2 times, get our head beaten in like we have the last 2 times, and basically have no chance to win, and then pick number 21. What would you rather do? I mean, and don't get me wrong, there's a gray area in between all of that because the Steelers can just be a better team. They can coach better. They can do a lot of different things, you know. But I'm just throwing that out there. I'm just throwing it out there. Basically, to come up with conversation, I want to see what you guys think about that because it's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question. And a lot of people are like, well, then we will fire Mike Tomlin. Okay. We were okay with Bill Cowher going through losing seasons to rebuild. We were okay with that. And that was after the Steelers became good. We were okay with them going through losing seasons and rebuilding that way. That was fine. You won't give Tomlin the same grace? And I'm not saying which way is right or wrong. I'm just asking questions because I want to know. I want to know what you guys think. So, no, you can't brag at being mediocre. No, you can't brag at being mediocre. And I've said this, and I'm going to say this to you guys. I know I've said it before, and maybe I haven't said it enough lately. Mediocrity is the death of your franchise. Let me say that again. Mediocrity is the death of your franchise. It just is. You don't get any better, and you're not bad enough to get better, and you're not good enough to really do anything, to be relevant. I've said that forever, and I will continue to say it. Mediocrity is the death of your franchise. So, and the Steelers have been stuck in that for a while. We got to get out of it. It would be better if we just got better and got out of it. That's what we all want. Just get better and get out of it. I just don't know that you can do that in the NFL, though, man. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to do it. I don't know anybody that just got good from being mediocre and then all of a sudden they just became good without going through that one season of bad football. I just don't know anybody who's done that, who was just mediocre for years. And then, you know what? They became good. Especially when that team didn't draft a franchise quarterback. And look, we tried with Pickett, but if we're all being honest, everybody knew that Pickett was not a first-round draft pick. He should have never been taken in the first round. And you know that because the next quarterback wasn't taken until the middle of the third round. So that just lets you know that draft just didn't have quarterbacks that people wanted to move up to take. And there was no reason for it. And don't tell me that teams didn't need quarterbacks. They did. Seattle was one of those teams. Seattle just gambled on Geno Smith, and it just happened to work. But they needed a quarterback. They said, we'll pass on Kenny Pickett. We'll pass on anybody that's coming out. We're going to go ahead and take Geno Smith and see if we can resurrect his career from off the scrap heap. And it happened to work for a season. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just questions again. I respect everybody's opinion, man. I respect everybody's opinion. And we're not arguing. We're not any of that. It's just, how do you guys feel about it? So, how do you guys feel about it? Let me pull up my man Christian, because he's had a lot to say on this topic, and I want to respect his opinion. Seeing losing week after week is just tough, bro. I'm always going to shoot for the win. I would love a high draft pick as well. So it's a very good question for sure. My man Christian, that's the whole thing. I wouldn't want the Steelers to tank. So let me just take that back. If anybody thought that I said the Steelers should tank, or I'm even rooting for them in this scenario, because you'll see me. I scream at the game. Maybe I'll stream one game that I'm watching this year, if that's at all possible. I never want to lose, ever. So, no. I don't think the Steelers should tank at all. If that was the scenario and we were going to be bad, I don't want us to tank. I just want us to lose because we just weren't good enough. We finished, 6-11 now. Okay, fine. If that's what had to happen, okay, because we weren't good. I don't want us to tank and just, okay, well, we could finish 6-11, but you know what? We're going to finish 2-15. No, I don't want that. That's not what I'm talking about. But you're right. It's just teams losing every week. My team losing every week. I wouldn't be able to take it. It'll stink. It was just a question, though, just throwing it out there. So, just throwing it out there, seeing what you guys thought about it. But there's so much, especially that question before the season has started. That's kind of why I wanted to ask you guys that question. Hey, man, here we are. We got a lot of questions. But again, are we jumping off the bridge during the preseason when we may not need to jump off the bridge just yet? Should we stay aboard? Should we stay on the boat? That's kind of my way of thinking. Is it too early? So, is it too early? Great statement right here. Our highest draft pick in the past decade was Devin Bush. It's less our draft spot and more how we manage the personnel development in my eyes. I mean, the thing about Devin Bush, we moved up to take Devin Bush. I think Devin Bush was the right guy, but he got hurt. And then once he got hurt, he wasn't the same, and then he didn't care. And that was the thing that pissed me off, is that he didn't care. And I have no idea why the Steelers had him on the roster when we said we weren't picking up his fifth-year option. And he came out with that interview and said, well, don't bother me. I'm still going to be in the NFL. I would have traded or cut his ass in an hour. I mean, think about that. You know, what if Najee would have said that this year? We didn't pick up his fifth-year option. Hey, man, I don't care. I'm still going to be in the NFL. He might think that, but he's not going to come out and publicly say it. Devin Bush did. He should have been gone. So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And yeah, Devin White would have been better. I mean, Devin Bush wasn't bad. And when he was healthy, before he got hurt, Devin Bush was just fine. He was just fine. So you are right, though, about the development of coaching. But that's got to be better. But Colbert, too, I mean, let's just call it what it is. Kevin Colbert, the last 5 years, he mailed it in on the Steeler draft picks. Let's just call it what it is, people. We missed way more than we hit. And I don't think enough people want to mention that. So, And no, my man Kevin, Malik Willis would not. Malik Willis may not be in the league this year. Like, he's borderline going to get cut from the Titans. So, no, he wouldn't have been better. No. Artie Burns. Come on, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I actually went to the game that Artie Burns literally got torched by the Chiefs. Remember that game? It was Patrick Mahomes coming out party in Pittsburgh. Oh, my goodness. That was brutal. I don't think I've seen a defensive back get that embarrassed in, like, ever. That was bad. That was bad. And then it didn't get better. It did not get better. That was bad. Ugh. So, I don't know, man. I just thought it was a good question to throw out to you guys. What do y'all want to see Saturday? What do y'all want to see from them? So, what do y'all want to see? Do y'all want to see, I mean, how long do y'all want to see the starters play? Because I don't think they're going to play a half. I think get 3 series in there and then get them out. Get 3 series and get them out. Let's see some movement on because the defense has been fine. Let's see what we can do, our offense can do. Let's see it. Let's see it a little bit. So that's what I want to see. Yeah, move the damn ball. Jiminy Christmas. Just move the ball. What can we do? But we'll get it figured out. We'll get it figured out, man. All right, people, we got to cut this one short today. I got some prior engagements, so I appreciate everybody showing up and showing out. Remember, preseason or pregame live, we're going to do it Saturday morning. We're not going to do it tomorrow. We're going to do it Saturday morning. We will be back here early before kickoff of the last preseason game against the Lions, so we will be here. Remember, start calling in. Start calling into the number 412-444-8390. Again, it's 412-444-8390. Remember to start calling in with your rants. Leave your name, email address, your YouTube username, and where you're calling from. Let us know, man, so we can put you up on Wednesday's podcast. We can start siphoning through all of that stuff, and we can put you on the podcast on Wednesday that we have that comes out every Wednesday. So I appreciate everybody being in here. Remember, like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. As always, I appreciate you guys. I will see you Saturday morning. Show up, show out. We'll be here for a little pregame show. We'll get this thing going, man. I appreciate you guys. Love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Aloha.